All right, this is a Fox News alert breaking tonight. If you are just joining us, federal prosecutors have just filed 9 new charges against Hunter Biden, all related to a tax evasion scheme. But the pressing question of the night is, well, what does this mean for the president? What did he know? When did he know it? And by the way, when are FARA charges ever going to be filed? Will they be filed? Here with analysis, law professor and Fox News contributor Jonathan Turley. Jonathan, you have been one of the few honest Democrats that have been pointing out this is a very real scandal with real implications for Joe Biden. And even though people in the media wanted to go away, people in the Democratic Party wanted to go away, you've been warning them it's not going away. And I think all roads now lead back to 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, and Joe Biden has a lot to answer for, starting with why he lied repeatedly to the country, including yesterday.
Well, I think that's true. The fact is that this is a circle that's getting tighter around the president. I mean, it's clear that the president has lied. He obviously lied during the first campaign when he said he had no knowledge of these dealings. Hunter himself contradicted that. Hunter's associates said that it was utter nonsense in recent statements after his testimony. He also said that his son didn't make any money in China. That obviously is not true. But there's a more serious problem here. And that is what the president knew of was not business dealings. It was corruption. That's what influence peddling is. The United States has pushed international agreements to stop influence peddling in other countries. The United States believes it is a leading source of destructive corruption. And if the president knew that his family was engaging in that type of corruption, of course it's serious. So we're looking at two events next week. One is when Hunter Biden is supposed to appear. That may now be effectively scuttled. Hunter may be able to use this to plead the fifth, to refuse to answer questions. But the second event is the expected vote on the impeachment inquiry. And this indictment might make it easier for Hunter not to speak, but it may make it more difficult for President Biden to avoid that inquiry. The fact is that this indictment shatters years of denials by the Bidens and, frankly, by an enabling media. It shows these massive amounts of money going to Hunter Biden from Romania, Ukraine, China, all these sources. And it also shows a knowing and continual effort to evade taxes, to commit criminal acts. Now, if this circle is getting closer to the president, then he has to answer some questions. So it leads us to this very simple question for next week. Is any Democrat going to stand up and have this moment of courage and to say, you know what, enough? We can't say we're against corruption and influence peddling and then say we don't even want to do an inquiry as to whether there's an impeachable offense.
So when you look at the lies, we start there. Then you look at the sheer number of suspicious activity reports. Then you look at the identified shell corporations with no real business purpose except to move money around. Then the sheer amount of money, tens of millions of dollars, with no evidence of any services rendered of any kind. And then the big question is, like, for example, in the case of Burisma, did Joe Biden, as vice president, take official action that financially benefited his family? Because 18 U.S.C., I believe it is 201, that's the bribery statute, Jonathan Turley. Bribery, high crimes, misdemeanors. I think you know where those words come from.
That's right. And when I testified in the first Biden impeachment, one of the things I emphasized was this speculation of whether the president benefited from this money is absolutely absurd. In federal cases, it's well established that if people give money to your family, it can be bribery. And many of the Democrats are just simply ignoring that fact. But there's also a collision problem here with Hunter Biden. In the gun charges, his counsel has said, you know what? He came out of an addiction around the time that he signed that form. And so he was signing it truthfully because he had clarity. Well, the problem is a lot of these crimes occurred during that period. So did he have clarity with the tax evasions that were being committed during the same period?
Amazing. A lot of questions to be answered. Karine Jean-Pierre's job just got a lot harder tonight. We'll see what she tries to say tomorrow to spin out of this. I don't think we'll be hearing from Joe much in the near future. Jonathan Turley, thank you, sir.